Well, back on the Caprice. Dan here, DD Speed Shop. Now, it's a bit of a funny one here because we're kind of simultaneously working on two different videos on this car at once because I'm an idiot, we don't have parts. So we're working on the fact this thing is not running very good. Actually, it's running terrible. And we've been shotgunning parts at it and diagnosing and all those things. I think we have it figured out. That video's already been out or coming out. I don't know how this is gonna go. What we're doing today is we're doing all the performance modifications on the suspension and exhaust, and we'll worry about the motor and test drive some other time. So, I showed in the first video this thing, the brakes, they're no bueno, no good. So, we're gonna upgrade the front brakes to real fancy stuff, stock discs, but they're AC Delco. Ooh, and we are gonna put nice pads on it though. AC Delco. Oh, and we're gonna do brake lines, AC Delco. I'm obsessed with factory stuff on this thing. So we're gonna do rotors, repack the bearings, brake pads, and new brake lines, because they're all kind of blah. I'm gonna leave the calipers, I'm sure they're fine, and if not, we'll change them later. Now, that's got, the back actually has probably 50% left on the shoes. I'm not worried about it. The wheel cylinders aren't leaking. There's no axle seal leak. And the drums were still more than in spec. So we'll just paint those, put them back. Now, for the actual handling of it, we're gonna go put high performance shocks on this thing. Nope. It came with a set of shocks. I don't even know what they are. Gas charged. 80, what are they? What name are these? They don't have it? I thought they were Monroe's. Gas charged heavy duties. Oh, there's not a brand name on them. Oh, Tenneco. Free. What else we have in here? What's this? Old one. Changed March 14th, 2021. Sounds good. And an oil filter. Okay, so we're gonna do the shocks, pull it around, and then the exhaust in this thing is a little, it's not great. Well, you know what? Let's just, hang on. We'll raise it and we'll show you. All right, we're at medium height. Whew, losing it. It's hot out today. So the tailpipe, so it's got tailpipe, resonator, and then it goes up. Now this thing is kind of funny how it goes. If you see, it's all kind of rotten like that. So it's rotted from the inside out. I guess, I don't know, must sit, you know, water must sit in there or something like that. Or maybe it just didn't get hot enough ever. This got a real funky whoop-de-doo tailpipe, and the muffler has a couple of blowouts at the back. So we're gonna do a muffler back resonator delete with nothing but the best that I could afford from the parts store. So factory exhaust is 2 1/4, whatever not mandrel bent is. We're gonna go ahead and upgrade to stock. But we're doing they sell a piece, it's all one. Look at this goofy whoop, whoop, up over the diff. Resonator delete kit. Factory muffler, unfortunately the mufflers come in 2 1/2, so I had to get some, that's annoying, reducers to 2 1/4, so I might just kind of zip that off and weld those right on. Slide that in there, bolt it, and carry on. We got some muffler clamps and a couple of wheel seals. And that's that. That's the plan for today. And what else did I do? I ordered a marker light lens because this one has got backed into, and unfortunately it's not just cracked, it's actually missing a piece. But Amazon had them for 19 bucks or 29, I forget what it was. Anyways, so we're gonna get all that in this video. Then all that's left is making it run properly. And then we can drive this thing, take it in for inspection, hang a plate on it, and go sailing. Oh, we gotta do air conditioning too, because if it has air conditioning, I'm gonna make it work. I'm fancy now. Let's see if these front brake lines come off. What the hell happened in here? Ah! It's supposed to be an easy brake job. So I thought I'd just do one side myself. That way when I screw it all up, it's not as embarrassing when the camera is on. So got it all apart. Got new brakes on. New shock is in, new line, it was all good. Torches were out, obviously that's good. Look at the mess, I try and blue everything out. And then I just kind of hose everything out with some oil. I don't know. I'm obsessed with having this thing not rust for some reason. I probably should pull the wheels and pressure wash it really, really well, but like you can see, like it's like factory colored paint. So anyways, also, I'm sure this thing is going to kind of squeak with all the dust, probably gets all the bushings and crap like that. So I'd like to kind of avoid that situation as much as possible. Got the one shock in, it was good. The back one's here, it's just one bolt at the bottom and two at the top, so we should be able to bang those out, no problemo. And I should probably, I'll brake clean in here, get it all cleaned up. And then we'll do like a step-by-step of how not to do it on the other side. It's unbelievably hot out. I don't really understand what's going on here today. But yeah, front brakes. Everybody should have them. Underside of the car. So we got the left side, driver's side, done. Now let's work this side. So we put a shock in it. Anyways, so we have to pull a shock out. I think what I'm going to do, while the shock's out, it's probably a lot easier to wrestle the exhaust in when there's just less things around there. Is the plan. Also, once the shock is out, we actually can lower the rear end down. So we're going to have to use a screw jack to kind of hold the rear end up, because on these things, basically the shocks are kind of your limiting straps. If you take the shocks out, you can pull the springs and all that, the rear end will hang down. So I'll just put a, little thing under there. We'll pull the shock out, and then as you can see, the resonator's already disconnect, and all it has is one bolt there. It's self-tapper dealy. So that's that. And then I was looking at this. The muffler is completely broken away. It's had an ugly patch put on it, which obviously leaks, and actually the front does the same thing. So I think I was originally gonna try to take it off. I'll probably just sawzall it right there, and then figure out how I'm gonna take this off, because it's got some sort of little bracket to hold it, and sawzall, whatever I have to do. A couple of clips of the wire ties, and that's about it. So let's get to taking the shock absorber out, and then we can worry about the exhaust. And then when that's out, then we can worry about supper. So we're just gonna zing this off now. The bottom shock has a new stud and nut and bolt and all that sort of stuff. The upper, we have to reuse the hardware. Wow, that's on there. Out of battery, or what's going on here? Yep, one. That would be the problem. I can jockey it. Perfect. It's off and probably extremely hot. Now, these upper bolts were a bit of a pain to get to on the other side. Now this side has exhaust. I need another extension. What a hassle. Look at all these extensions. Hopefully this comes out easy. And it's nut and bolt, and it's metric. Okay, it wasn't that bad. Maybe I made it seem like I'm a wuss. What? Oh, where did I drop that? Oh, found it. Good. We'll chalk out. And the other one was stone dead. Well, this one's got a little bit to it. Anyway, what we can do now if we want, we can kind of lower this down. We get just a little bit more room. Okay, I'm gonna get the Sawzall. Sawzall. Okay, we got ourselves a couple of classic farmer fixes. That's speaker wire, I think. Baling wire. Okay, got that. this one here. These are like load bearing. Okay. What does this have? 13. Which I don't have a socket. Okay, we'll come back to that. I think what I'll do now is I'm just gonna start buzzing. So there we have it. Resonator off, tailpipey over the axle off. Look at how rotten this thing is. This is the top. It must have just, I guess, not gotten hot, and a bunch of short trips that just rotted. We're gonna have to save this piece. Is kind of cool. It just slides into that little rubber bushing. And actually, the other tailpipe has the same thing. It just has a tab with a hole in it, and it uses a self-tapper. I might maybe put like a 1/4 inch bolt or something in there so I feel a little better about it than just a self-tapping unit. And then we go into the muffler, which obviously this is like nobody home in there, and yeah, it fell right apart. And then I'm gonna cut the front here, but same way. Man, can you hear all the back and forth? Oh, not all the rust coming out of it. That's hilarious. Yowza. So this thing was already super quiet, but now that it's going to go through a proper muffler and not have any leaks at the back here, yeah, that should be mint. The rest of the exhaust does look pretty good. It's got some sort of a cat up front, but everything looks fine. Just from the muffler back, it was unhappy. So I guess maybe it's real hot out of the cat and then cools off back here or something. I'm not really too sure. But wow, like just look at this paint. I feel like we could polish that up. It would look nicer in the top side of most of my cars. And yeah, what else we got going on? I think that's what I did. Like I said, I don't know if I said, but I hosed down the bleeders, even though the back brakes are fine. For the next guy or me down the road, when I do have to change the brakes, who am I kidding? If I change the brakes on this thing, it'll be shoes, wheel cylinders, brake lines, the whole deal, because it's never just one thing. We got kind of lucky on the front. We'll see if it happens on the other side. Yeah, look at this. So nice. Not having to fix rust is like, I don't think I've ever bought a car where I just do mechanical. It's quite a concept. Anyways, Danny made ribs, so I'm gonna pile back some ribs. Come back, we'll get the exhaust in. We got the one front corner of the brake, put the performance discs on, and I think that's kind of all we're doing to this thing for this video. You know, making it a hot rod. Okay, man, really tied one on with the ribs there. Now, yeah. So the mufflers are exactly the same, other than this one is a 2.5 ID, and this is a 2 1/4 ID. So I got these little adapters, which probably don't look like much on camera. What they're going to do is they're going to turn the muffler into the same thing. Now what I'm going to do is push them in a fair bit, and I'm going to kind of weld the gap a little. It should be okay. There'll be enough room to put a clamp on it. That's all that really matters, and ultimately gives it about the same kind of length-ish as the mufflers were. These are a little bit less poke out, so we'll do that real quick. And then we should be able to slide it all together, test fit it, a couple of clamps. I mean, we're not building a custom exhaust. It's actually kind of nice for once. Stock. What a concept. Okay, unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of great angles. See under here, this does have an inlet. So we'll do that. And where did I put it? I have a little hanger. Oh, here it is. I pulled the hanger off, so I'm just gonna slip that in, and we'll. I wonder how this works. I should look at it a little bit better, but we should be able to hang the muffler, the tailpipe, and kind of go from there. It just slides in. Oh, it's still a little hot. A little hot. There you go. Right on the pipe. Oh, that's actually gonna be good. Should be okay. Give it a little smack with a mallet. But that'll be good. Okay. Now we can hang this. One piece. Ah. Bugger. Oh, there we go. I was just gonna, oh, this is a little long. You can fit it there. Oh. Huh. It worked just like that. I was just gonna vice grip this to the rubber at the back. Well, basically it's kind of there. Huh. That went shockingly well. Give it a once over here. Bigger vice grip dummy. Would have been handy. Come on, come on. Okay. So that'll be, we'll nut and bolt that in. Goes up, kind of clears everything. A little close to that spring, but well, the whole muffler has to go over to go in line. Just got to put a little clamp there to that. That'll bring it up and really into position. Nut and bolt there. Brand new exhaust, a Walker. That's pretty good. This would have been something to make yourself. That's pretty sweet. Looks nice. Look at that. And people in the comments saying dual exhaust and Flowmasters. Come on. Turbo mufflers and corrugated pipe. Jeez, you can sure tell I've been working, eh? Disaster, disaster, disaster. Clean spot. So we got the exhaust on. I put a bolt in here. I'm pretty sure it wasn't a factory deal because this looks like it's a shock absorber washer, some sort of miscellaneous cell tapper, but there you are. So it's all in the same spot. Nothing bangs into anything. So we should be good there. We have lots of space all the way around. This is a bit of a goofy thing. I used one clamp to the to hold it up, and then another clamp to secure the tailpipe, and then we have a clamp up front, but nothing's moving there. We're golden. Shock is in. Those are all taken care of. Shine those up, eh? They're brand new. Heavy duties. Yeah, I think that's about it. I will push some of this junk outside, sweep it out, and all we got left is the front brake. That's a pretty successful afternoon of wrenching. It'll be, well, sun's almost down. Sun will be down by the time we're done, I'm assuming. But really, this thing will be like ready to cruise. I think that's all I'm gonna do to this thing mechanically. Needs a couple odds and ends. I want to fix the air conditioning and the radio doesn't work, but man. And I want to bend back those little frame sections where it had a floor jack incident at some point in its life, but we can do that on the ground, no problem. So I will see you up front. Other side, as you can tell, I have blown everything off. And the side's actually not as bad. I could probably turn these rotors if they're in spec. And the brake pads are definitely more than 50%, but whatever. The issue we want to fix, where's my light? Hold please. I tell you, these octopus lights or whatever they're called, man, are they good. Anyway, Well, just turn it off. This here's what we're trying to fix. So this line is broke, which is no good. Now, front brakes, fairly simple. I mean, we're gonna take these off, we're gonna repack the bearings, put them in the new rotors, pop the caliper off, put in a new set of pads, and it kind of all go back together. This is the problematic issue because we have this probably rusty line. We have to take it out. And what always happens is the line actually rusts the inside of the tube nut, and as you loosen the tube nut, it twists this line. And that's, well, we're trying to avoid that. We're going to avoid that with heat. But step one, I'm going to cut this thing. Now the reason I do that is because we're going to heat this up, cool it off, and spray it with penetrating oil, all sorts of stuff. And you'll see, because I'll have the camera going, this will spatter and all sorts of things like that. But if you don't do that, all that pressure builds up in this hose, and it'll burst one side or the other, and it'll scare the hell out of you, and it's not fun, and I hate it. And we're replacing it anyways, so who frickin' cares? So I'm going to get the torch set up. We're going to get this nice and warm, and spray a bunch of oil on it and stuff like that. And hopefully we can break it loose. Okay, it's a bit of an ugly angle, but I gotta get in there too. So we're gonna be heating up. Oh, you know what? Maybe I should get you in the frame there. You see that? Oh yeah, there we go. So we're gonna torch it. Be careful with the torch, gentlemen. And if you don't have a torch, you really should buy one. So we're gonna have kind of too crazy of a flame. We're gonna heat this up red freaking hot. That's the plan. And hopefully it'll break all the ugly rust through. These are gotta be probably original lines, I'm thinking. Everything else is pretty much original. So you can see it's all kind of spitting out fire there. Well, that would be pressure in that line. All the ball joints are all factory on this thing, but like I was saying, I think factory stuff, honestly, probably better than anything new you can buy these days. And of course, I don't have my flare nut wrench. I don't know where the heck it is. Gentle, gentle. Woo! Man, it blew off the end anyways. That's what I hate that. I hate that. Really smoke it out for no reason. Okay. So we'll let that just kind of simmer down for a second. Actually, I gotta be right where you guys are too. So we got the vice grips to kind of hold it. We'll see if we get lucky. I'm really hoping, because making a line would be kind of not fun. Oh, I think we're good. So now, just because it went, don't just go hog, ham, whatever it is. Kind of work it back and forth. You gotta get all the junk off the tube, so the tube nut is nice and happy. So this will save you a bunch of time. And these lines, I mean, they're all fine. If they were rotten or close to or real scaly, I'd just change them. But once you get all the kind of rust and stuff off them, they're fine. Or the dirt, I should say. Okay, keep going. So I think we're gonna clear. So I'm gonna work that off, and there's a little clip we have to get off the back as well. Then we can just change the line. Life will be good. Oh yeah, we're good. Oh, okay, so that's off. That's the ugly piece. I'll just take it off the caliper real quick. Is it the same size? Wrench isn't even that hot. bada bing, we're off. And you gotta kind of keep track of the way, just a bit of a shape to it. So we'll put it on the same weight, and this thing has brass banjo washers. Put that off. The kit should come with new ones. Okay, so here's our new line, and so it went in. That's the top. I'll take that out. Put this together. Boom. So that's what's gonna look like. Then I'll squeeze it. This bolt has a hole in it, which allows the fluid to go through it. So again, you guys gotta move. I'm just gonna get this all started, then I'll come back and show you. Lines in, everything's tight, no issues. If that didn't sell you on a set of torches, I honestly do not know what will. Now, next thing we're gonna do here is loosen the bleeder. We have to bleed the brakes, but what we're gonna do is gravity bleed them while we're working. You know, it's like getting the apprentice to do something. Same deal, we're gonna heat this thing up. What drives me nuts about this thing is all the brake fittings are standard, well, standard wrenches anyways, but the bleeder is a 10mm socket. Now, I guess I could have done this without that brand new line on there now that I think about it. Don't burn through your brand new line. See if we can get heat up bleeders. You take your time, do okay. Again, it's all about kind of, and I know I rush, trust me, I get it, but I have learned over the years, stuff like this, take your time, heat it up, work it back and forth, a little penetrating oil, don't just slap on the impact and put her full blast. They don't like that. A little heat goes a long, it's unbelievable. I got these torches, oh God, I don't know, Murray gave them to me, I think, or something as a present at one point, and they've paid for themselves 50 times over. Remember I said don't burn that line? I got a little close to that line. Luckily there's a outer little shell there to protect it for idiots like me. So, you think, feel lucky? Yes, nice and easy. We did pretty good today. So we're gonna take it right out because it's hot. But you can probably just loosen it, and what's gonna happen is this thing will gravity feed, and eventually start feeding its way into the bucket. Just put it up there. So that's that. Now let's go ahead and take some of this other junk off. I need another ratchet because that one's gonna be hot. All right, light change. So, Danny was out here just kind of bullshitting, but you can see how it's dripping? So it has gravity bled itself. So let's go ahead and put the bleeder back in. And in theory, there should be no air in there. The brakes are bled. We could just do that every time, but that's not fun.
Is that seriously how easy it is? You just lift the car up and let it go?
You can, yeah. That's what I do when you're not around. It's all about the content. Okay, so now, let's rip this bad boy apart. So there's two pins that are gonna hold on this caliper. So we'll take these out. You're really getting in there with the angles. This is way better on a tripod. So this is the standard old school GM caliper. Back to the thing.
Oh.
So it's got one piston. So what actually happens is as you apply the brakes, it pushes this piston out, which kind of tries to push it away, and that's what causes the squeezing. So it's just very simple, and it rides on these pins. So we'll clean them up a little bit. The brakes are fine. It didn't pull or anything like that. Where are we gonna put that? We can do this top of brake job in one take. Hashtag one take. Okay, so we got that. I need a hammer actually to get this off. Maybe a pair of vice grips will be a hammer. Oh, I got a flathead screwdriver. That's kind of a hammer. So get this off. Now, you don't want to hang these by the line, so zip tie them or do whatever you want. Put them somewhere where hopefully it won't fall. Please don't fall. Side cutters. So now, got our cotter pin. Gotta pull that out. These cotter pins are like brass or copper or something. They're kind of neat. I've never seen anything like that. Look at that. Junk. Now we use the proper tool for this. Oh, it's loose. I don't know. Take the loosen the wheel bearing stuff. I'll take this right apart. We want to keep that. Well, bearing. Oh, you know what we're going to do though? We're going to pull the rear bearing real quick. Just going to put the nut on. Mint. So, the rear bearing, it just, damn it, still fine. It just fits in the race there, but you have to knock this seal in after, so you just knock it out. There you go, so that's all stripped. This is garbage. We're going to clean and repack the bearings real quick. That'll be the next thing we do. We'll simply put them in the new rotors, hammer and seal, put them back in. What? Pads? You want to do it?
No, I just like that stupid light on your head.
Oh yeah, it's so handy
You
though.
remind me of the guy from Star Trek, the Reading
I'm not gonna
Rainbow
lie.
guy.
You know, I always feel like, you know when you watch a Mortsky video and he's always huckstering some sort of product or whatever, because he's trying to, you know, he's just doing it for the money. He doesn't actually care about you guys. Here at DD Speed Shop, me and Danny care, and these lights are fantastic. The only thing I will say is the motion on the side. It's pretty slick, but if you kind of go in like that, it'll turn itself off. That's a hassle. Okay, I'm gonna clean these bearings real quick. I'm just gonna use brake clean and compressed air, and then we'll come back, we'll pack them. I'll show you how to do that. It's always fun, even though everyone's seen it a million times. And then, yeah, put it all back together. A quick brake job like it's 1991. Okay, so we're gonna pack these bearings full of grease. So they're all cleaned up, genuine, made in Canada, Timken bearings. That's how you know they're good. So you just put a dollop of grease on your hand, your clean hand, and you just kind of scrape it in there. I should be making Danny do this. This is her car. You know, all we're doing is working on your cars.
For once.
And then as you can see, it kind of globs through there. So you know you're done. So we'll do both of these real quick, and then we'll just jam it in that rotor. Put a seal on it. Start putting it all back together. The only thing that's gonna be a hassle on this is the shock. The other one fought me big time. It's all seized up. Country road grime. Okay, well I'll get these done. We'll come back on the workbench and knock her together. We have all the right tools. So these are genuine AC Delcos. They already have the races in them. So we'll put the bearing in. Now what you gotta do is knock this seal in. So we're gonna use a body hammer because it was the closest hammer. Boom. So that's when we had the nut on there, knocked it right off. We'll put this back together. that on. Grab our outer bearing. What's going on here? There we go. Ugh. Jeez. Come on, we're camera ready here, darling. Should probably clean this off, maybe.
Honestly, that was pretty mellow considering it's one of my sneezes.
Yeah, usually your sneezes are ridiculous. So we got this little kind of keyed washer. So it only fits one way. One way. Put that on there. Castle nut. Now we have to kind of preload the bearing real quick. Actually, I should get a cotter pin, but we'll do that after. So you can use, probably not vice grips, but crescent wrench or socket, whatever you want. So you just want to spin this, the wheel, as you kind of torque this on, and we're just kind of seating the bearing. Loosen it, finger tight, and whatever the cotter pin kind of lines up with, move it, I guess loosen it, I think is the deal, but whatever you want, we'll knock cotter pin in there, dust cap back on, and the wheel bearings are done. I'm gonna clean these up real quick. Put the dust cap on, we'll do the brakes, and then like, that's it, the shock. The last thing is the shock, which is gonna be a nightmare. I see it coming, but we have the torch and we're gonna use it. Be back shortly. Let me just light up the situation here. I'll bring these brakes to light. We're gonna do this lightning fast. So we're gonna knock out the old pads, which are actually not terrible. We'll do that one. The other thing we gotta do here real quick is we have to push back this piston, because as the brakes wear, where the piston, obviously it moves in and out, but its resting point will be out a little bit. We're gonna want it all the way in because we're gonna have thicker rotors and thicker, well, these are gonna fall, pads. So let's reset it. You can use channel locks, they sell a tool. C-clamp works fine. So we'll kind of do that. We have to go just a little bit more with the pad out. Gentle. This is some riveting television. Danielle was like, yeah, I want to come out and watch you work because it's so exciting. And I'm like, oh, you wouldn't be the first lady to say that. Well, you might have been the first and only. I'm sure there's like maybe one wife that enjoys.
She might not have even said that.
Well, no, she actually doesn't want to be here. But I was like, while you're here, you might as well hold that. Okay. So that's that. Now the next thing, gentle, we're gonna do here.
Can you tell them not to let it drop?
Don't let that drop. It won't drop. It's just we don't want it to fall in the line. So you can see on the old pads where it kind of rode, right? The witness marks. So on the new ones, oh, I have a, sorry, I gotta get by here real quick. There's a little clamp that holds the one on. Use the old one as a guide. Just like this. This will hold it in the, whatever, piece there. Where's the brake clean? Can you pass me that brake clean? You probably, I think people recommend soap and water to clean rotors, but brake clean was on sale at Princess Auto today. So guess what we're using? Get all the junk. They send them with like an oil on them, I think. Don't want to drop this, remember? Just get all the crap off of it. Also, my greasy hands don't help the situation. Okay, that's all good. Okay, so that's ready to go. Now, when I said with those witness marks, I'm gonna put a little bit of this, actually, these AC Telco pads because they're fancy and they weren't cheap. These rollers were $80 a piece, $81 a piece through Rock Auto plus shipping. That's how you know I love you. Anyways, Danny, not you weirdos. So where it's gonna ride, we're just gonna put a little bit of this kind of goo on there. I really get kind of carried away when I'm not filming myself, eh? And then this side was, what did it do? On the sides. So goop a little, and this is just kind of like brake silicone. I don't know, it'll make it quiet, ish. Okay. Oh, that's not gonna work. These old calipers may have a little bit of dirt in them. Fuck. We'll edit that out in post. Okay, hang on. I'm gonna screw around with this for a minute because it's frustrating. You can stop filming and embarrassing me now. Why isn't this going in? Oh, there we go. Okay. Don't fall. So now that this went in expertly and we didn't have to edit any amount of footage out of this, it's perfect. Put this on, bleeder to the sky. What, we twisted that. So you don't want to twist your line. The guy just did. Basically perfect. Grab your hammer. The internet loves this stuff. And then we're just gonna run this pin through. That's one. Oh, that one was like perfect. Two. Where's my ratchet? There you go, your standard GM brake job from like 1968 until, well, at least 89. I think this is the newest GM brake job I've ever done. Now, the other thing you will have to do is step on the brake pedal a couple of times. So obviously we bled the air out, but what's happened is because that caliper is open, and as you press on the pedal, it's going to squeeze the rotor. Well, what's happened is it's past its travel. So you step on the brakes, the first thing it's going to do is move in. So you might have the first pedal or two might go right to the floor. So the last thing you want to do is a brake job. Forget to do that. So we should probably do that like right this second, so we don't forget. But there you are. GM brake job. Still spins. We're good. Shock is going to be ugly. But let's lower this thing, step on the brake. You want to do that real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, so hop in and put your foot on the brake.
Oh, I haven't been in there.
Here, you want me to? Here, I'll bring you.
What? Stop.
Well, don't wear it out. And it tilts.
There's like a spaceship.
Okay, anyways, let's show the people. Hit
So
the,
you're gonna make me go to. I'm fat.
push,
Squish me.
push the brake. See, it went all the way down. Now let it back up. Do it again. And there you go. One more time.
Twilight Century.
Keep hitting the brake. There you go. So now you got a firm pedal, eh? Wow. Okay, so she needs to figure this car out. But there you are. Brake job done. Double check all your lines, make sure nothing's leaking and all that sort of stuff. But pretty simple setup, guys. Oh, I guess I should take the the MUR light off. There you are. I'm going to take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll do that last shock absorber. Put the wheels on. We're in studio right now. Okay, so the final piece here. Now, the other shock fought me like no tomorrow. I'll grab one here for you. Heavy duty. Quit yawning, it's not even that late out.
I'm bored.
It's not even 1 o'clock yet. So, oh, these things. Oh, is there no? Oh no, I'm holding it. So anyways, what happens is the shock absorber goes through the coil spring, bolts to the lower control arm. This goes into the frame, and that's your shock motion. What happens is the little nut that squeezes, so there's a couple of rubber bushings, rubber bushing, frame, rubber bushing, nut, hold it all together obviously, so that's some movement. But this can twist. And what happens if this nut, which it does, gets seized on there, it's a pain to take off. There's a little thing you can kind of grab at the top, but the problem with this car is it's way down in the control arm. Like, it's really ugly to get to. So I'm gonna try and wire brush it a little bit. Then we're gonna try heating it up with a torch and some penetrating oil and see if we get lucky, because the other one, I torched it off, which was awful because the bushing's on fire and it's a nightmare and things are not going well. So we'll try and pull everything we can, we're gonna do. Again, if this hasn't sold you on a torch yet, well, I guess it hasn't worked yet, but if you don't have a torch and you're screwing around hot rods, I swear to God, like, tomorrow, run out and buy one. It's like $300 or $400. Not a MAP gas torch, a real torch. Okay, do that. This is where you really want to be careful. There's a lot of rubber and who knows what around here. When you are torching, be careful. I do have one of those, and every time I use this and it's all sketchy, I have one of those inductor heater things. People are like, why don't you use that? I'm like, it's because I forget. Bushing is on fire. The other thing you can do is you can grab the bottom of the shock with a pair of vice grips, which it's just a little fire, which we'll probably do as well if I can get in there. Ooh, I can't. It's ugly. I could drop the shock, but I'm lazy, so we'll just try this without it. Maybe we'll get lucky, eh? Feel lucky? Kind of feel like it's going. Feels like it's going too easy to be spinning the shock. I could be wrong though. No, spin the shock. Son of a bitch. All right, well, the battle ensues. I can get up in here. Instead of grabbing it from the top, I can grab it from the bottom. Be a little easier.
Why is it bubbling?
Oh, it's the rubber bushing in there. Oh, we'll see if that did anything. Maybe a no. Okay, well, I'm gonna end up dropping the bottom of the shock, I guess, and see if I can get some more travel and grab it a little better, but this will be the next hour of my life, unfortunately. So you can't really get a wrench in there and grab it at the top at the same time on this stupid thing. Well, I don't see how I'm getting a wrench in there. Shoot. I'll see you at 2 o'clock in the morning when it's coming out. Well, I'd love to show you what I did, but I was just over here like a bear. So we'll get the light. So we got the nut off. We lucked out. It was, well, lucked out's a relative term. It was 25 minutes of screwing around, but I did one vice grip was on the this section right there, kind of holding it. And you think that'll be good enough, but it's hard to get it tight enough and it can still kind of spin. So what I also did is I grabbed that top nut here. I guess I can show you on the display shock. So I had a vice grip hole in the top here as well. So we had it locked there, and then here at the top I could hold it by hand. Then I actually used a crow's foot to get started. So crow's foot, I never use these, but this is an example of it. So you put it in there, you get it on, and then you can kind of just give it a slight little turn, and you gotta start again. You kind of do that. And then I just got it kind of working back and forth enough, a little bit of heat, a little bit more penetrating oil. We switched over the ratchet, worked our way back and forth a bunch. I do an electric ratchet, which probably would have made life a little bit easier, but you know what? Sometimes just having the feel of the tool, the light's not even on. What's going on there? Oh, there we go. Is kind of the way to go. Oh, it's dead. Now, you should be able to loosen that. Pull the shock right out. Look at that. It's not even that barbecued. Huh. This one's actually not even that bad of shape, but we'll slam the new one in and call it a night. It's around 11 o'clock and I'm tired. Well, there we have it. All back together. See a new shock in there. I gave everything a quick coat of oil. Brake cleaned the brakes yet again, just so if any splatter got on there, it's on there. As I've learned, you know what doesn't rust? Oil. So that's that. I'm still gonna pressure wash the hell out of this thing, but in my mind it makes sense. That's kind of what it looks like. I just love how it's like, look at that. That's like the actual bare metal frame stuff. And I mean, it doesn't hurt to oil down all the lines and stuff like that. Back's all good, you know. Look at that. Man, neighbors are having a party out there. But there we are. Look at all this dirt though. I just like to get all this off. I mean, I'll take it on the driveway or something like that. As I said, we're still waiting on some parts. So that'll probably be the next video, even though I started before today. We'll finish it after, so that's the way the timeline's gonna go. So hopefully parts will be here tomorrow. Maybe it'll run, but if it does run and drive, kind of short list of things to get taken care of. It's just little stuff. Bend a few things back, pressure wash it real good. I want to oil it all down so it looks all nice and uniform as far as I'm concerned. And that's it, that's all. So thank you very much for watching. As always, subscribe below and leave a comment. You guys seem to be liking this thing. I mean, the old box Chevy, I guess, as they're called. They're kind of new to me, but I do like it. I have that turn signal end showing up. You know, drive this thing. The old TBIs. Some people in the comments just said they're absolute garbage. In my experience, they've been like dead nuts reliable. And as broken as this thing was, when the next video you'll see what was broken, the fact that it was still running shocks me. Hopefully that will fix the problem, but that's the way it's gonna go. I'm gonna clean up a little bit as always. Fire safety, please. You know, I've had some friends lately have some issues with the old fire. Something, none of their fault, but you know what? Just take your time at the end of the night, clean up a little bit, you know, have a beer if that's what you want to do, smoke a cigarette, any of those things. Well, maybe don't smoke a cigarette, go outside if you can do that. Just don't immediately be using the torch and penetrating oils and stuff like that that could catch fire. Please, I don't want to see anyone else have their shop burned down. So, see you on the next one. Oh, I look like I have a black eye. The car gave it to me. Yeah, I'm rambling. Enjoy your evening.